Happy Friday. So things have taken an interesting turn, an expected turn, but an interesting turn. I woke up to what I can only describe as a flood of hate emails in my inbox. They were disguised as spam, so they came as spam. So like 3 or 4 of them were spam, and then in between the 3 or 4 of them, there would be this massively bizarre one that was personal, like spam, 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 and then all of a sudden, I'll burn your house down. Spam, 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 don't go out, because I will find you and kill you. So I've collected all the information. Everything has been reported to Cybercrime Canada. I've changed some things on my YouTube, just in case that's where they came from. But I'm gonna throw some truth at you here, which I do all the time. But whoever this is, they are either watching my YouTube videos and then sitting there stewing, or they're on my Facebook. So if I've obviously, if they are on my Facebook, I've neglected to find the rat in the hen house, so to speak. So am I scared? Am I worried? Physically and emotionally? Physically, no. Emotionally, am I worried? Not personally, but I'm really ticked off that you've done this to my husband and the people that care about me. You're messing with them. That's not cool. That's not cool. He shouldn't, he left for work today stressed that he was leaving me by myself. You don't get to do that to him. You also understand, whoever you are, that I'm not stopping. I'm not a sheep. I've never been quiet about an injustice in my life. I'm not all of a sudden going to get up at 45 and decide I'm just not going to do something about bad things. That's not happening. Get a grip. Find somebody a little bit less committed, maybe. I don't know. I will say something that two things that have been just bothering me as of late, as of everything that's going on as of late. The first one is when somebody, the people that comment that it's not as bad in Canada as it is in the States, can you please stop doing that? 10 times out of 10, you're white, so you really don't even get to say it because you've never lived any of it. Please don't. You have to literally be living under a bloody rock to be able to say that with a straight face. Canada has a disgusting history and present of absolute hate towards Indigenous people. If you did not receive that education growing up, which I understand you might not have because we all received this colonized version of history, then I suggest you research and get yourself up to date on the reality of the awfulness. So being brown and black here is just as awful as it is there. We do not lack our share of entitled white people. Ridiculous. Stop saying that. Stop that. That's just an ignorant comment. It's ridiculous and it needs to end. Second thing I have to say is I love that a lot of you are sharing injustices and we're all in this, we're just being allies. It's awesome. I do, however, notice a lot of you will share some and you have people commenting that don't get it. And you're like, if somebody tries to argue that George Floyd deserved what happened, or they try to tell you something that they feel like he's done, or they try to throw rioting in. Okay, FYI, peace has been tried. Nobody got on that train. Nobody got on that train. they actually were disgusting about that peace train. So I don't know why you don't think that there is going to be rioting. I'm not sure why you think that's not happening. Again, white people have a history of some disgusting behavior that destroyed a lot of personal property and businesses. So calm down. Do your research. Central Park used to be a very thriving community of Black people. Then it was destroyed. Okay, sorry, went off on a different train there. But if you find yourself having to argue with someone who thinks that they have an argument about a man being kneeled on in broad daylight on the street like an animal, which we would never allow an animal to be treated that way. If you think that you should argue how that somehow was acceptable behavior, I think the only course of action I would tell you to do if you feel like you have somebody on your page that is trying to do that, number one, ask yourself a couple of questions. Are they paying your bills? No? Okay. So I was going to say, if they are paying your bills, figure out how to pay your bills. Get rid of them. Do you want a person that thinks they can argue that as being okay in your life? Do you need that person in your life? I don't think you do. I don't know. I don't know your thing. I don't know your situation. I just don't understand why you would want to argue with the troll. We do all call them trolls. But I'll tell you something about what I know about trolls. And I don't have a PhD in trolls. I'm not sure who does, but I don't. But what I know about trolls is from fiction, movies, and books. And the two things I can tell you about trolls. Number one, they have to constantly eat. And number two, they thrive in the darkness. So if you have a troll on your social media page who wants to constantly fight against what you're trying to say anti-racism wise, there's two things I guess you need to do is they're in the darkness. Let them live there. You're not. You're trying to bring the light. They hate the light. That's why they're fighting you. And number two, you feed them by even entertaining their garbage. So don't feed them anymore. They'll turn to stone eventually. Catch you on the flip side.